Are you ready, Ninja Babe? Ready to face your fears, to ignite your passions and break through your limitations? Are you ready to get out of your comfort zone and go after your dreams with unstoppable force? It's happening here on the Ninjababes podcast, the place where women spill it all about self-confidence, courage, and body image. This is where we show our strength. This is the sisterhood where girls gather to empower themselves and each other. Get ready to get rocked, because this is where you come to be encouraged and be transformed in order to live out your full potential. Be proud of yourself, Ninja Babe. Now let's get after it. Welcome to the Ninjababes podcast. Today I'm here with Charity Grace, the mermaid ninja, and I'm so excited to be talking to her from sunny Florida as I'm up in the snowy New Jersey weather. Charity, how are you today?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. So I feel like a lot of our community knows you as the mermaid ninja, and we've seen you on American Ninja Warrior, but a lot of us don't know where did you come from? Like, you're this mermaid that dropped in from the ocean,
from the
but
depths of
you
the
have
sea.
yes, you have an amazing YouTube channel and everything you do on Instagram with your like incredible photos and just like all that you do. And I've always wondered just what was the origination of Charity, and so I'd love today to just hear more about your creativity and just your life and your family and what you all do together and how that's been a part of your ninja journey. And then we'll get to some of the lessons and like what you would want to teach other girls and women in our community. So tell us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell us more. How did you get started in your life? I don't know where you want to take that back to. Did you start originally setting out to want to be a YouTuber or anything like that? Or how did you kind of start?
No, actually, that kind of fell into my lap, which I'm so grateful for as far as like the social media career. But yeah, it actually, before even all that started, I actually was a dancer. I grew up doing dance and competed in a couple of state competitions and stuff like that. And as far as like ninja is concerned, I've always watched the show. So, I mean, I remember, I wasn't quite a kid, but I was pretty little then. And I remember like watching the show with my dad and like my family and just thinking how cool it was. And I grew up with like a pretty active family. So my dad had like built us like a tree house in our backyard that had like a rock wall. And I remember thinking like, this is so cool. Like all this like, obstacle course type stuff. And yeah, I've always known of it, but like I just never even dreamed in like that I would ever one day be on the TV show. So, but I've always loved it.
Yeah. It's wild how that happens, because I feel like a lot of us don't really think about it that way. And then all of a sudden we're there and it's like going on and like we're in this world and we didn't expect it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So down the road, I ended up becoming friends with the Bergstrom clan. I don't know if you remember them from, they're actually
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Competed for the first time. The kids did last year, and they both did really well. And they started with just building some obstacle type stuff in their backyard, and I would go over there and mess around, and that's kind of how it began.
Yeah. Did you know them through something else besides ninja, or how did you get hooked up with them?
Yeah, so we used to teach we as in my sisters and I used to teach dance out of our church. And so they were like some of our students there. I remember them coming to take some dance classes and stuff like that. And that's how we kind of knew of them.
Oh, wow.
We were kind of the same circle of homeschool kids and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the same circle of people. And then, yeah, they started into ninja, and then kind of went from us teaching them lessons to them teaching us lessons.
Wow, that's so funny. That's so cool, though. I love that. So then, before you even got involved with ninja, what was kind of your goal? Like, were you looking to do anything fitness related career-wise, or how did you transition from dance to ninja?
Well, dance kind of came to an end for me when I started having my kids. That was not really planned. I kind of got pregnant and I was like, oh, I'm having a baby now. So kind of put a little spin in my plan in my career. But yeah, I had to kind of take a step back from that and, go through the whole childbirth and being a mother. And I think after that kind of passed, I was just looking to get back into something that made me active and made me feel passionate and stuff like that. So I've always had some kind of like physical activity that I did that just kept me like motivated and stuff like that. And I started with some yoga. And then, like I said, I ended up at that time meeting up with the Bergstroms and just go checking out their backyard and just really fell in love with it from there.
So one thing I'm wondering is all of your everything that you post for your Instagram and YouTube. I love your creativity and I love like seeing all your FX makeup and like everything that you create and you imagine. How has that sort of been a leading for what you do in your life? Like, where did you just learn makeup on your own, or was it like a side passion or a side job at one point?
Yeah, I've always just loved being creative and the arts and stuff like that. I actually went to art school for a while, so I just always been like a part of my life. But just one thing led to another. I started getting into um, FX makeup and video and stuff like that, and that kind of led to just makeup in general. And then I started freelancing as a makeup artist. So I would actually ended up going into like the wedding industry and doing like a lot of like bridal makeup as well. So yeah, I was working as a freelance for a while, and then all this time that I was just doing all these various little interests and passions and careers, like I always was like really good about posting to my social media. I just liked documenting what I was doing because I was everything I did. I always was passionate about it, so I always would document my work, like my makeup, my creative life, if I was doing costumes or art or whatever. And so yeah, I just always like kept up on documenting that stuff and posting it online. And I think people just really vibed with it. I think they were seeing my passion through what I was doing, and I think they just enjoyed watching it. So it just kind of started to grow that way.
hmm Yeah, that's so fun. And I love that something that meant so much to you has transformed into something that so many people love to look at and love to just, have that curiosity of seeing what you've created and what you've made. Do you feel like what you've done in art and creativity is like a way for you to process? Like, do you find yourself using your creative outlets to de stress or help you like clear your brain or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think art has always been therapeutic for me, and I think pretty much for anybody who does it. I think everyone
Yeah.
is artistic in some kind of way, whether it's just different mediums or whatever. But it's like a chance to kind of escape, I think, and you can just be a little bit more imaginative, whether it's makeup, costumes, art, drawing, whatever. I think it's just a way to like kind of get out of your own head for a little bit. So yeah, for sure.
hmm Yeah, one thing I've always loved to observe about your life from a distance is I always feel like you have this amazing balance of being true to yourself, being true to your own creative self and what you do with athletics and creativity, and then your time with your family. And it seems like you have a really great balance of how to kind of incorporate that all into one. I'm sure sometimes it feels like a hot mess, but it does seem like it's amazing how you've incorporated your kids in what you do, and you work with your husband to kind of create this giant like force that we see from the outside. But how do you feel like you came to this place of being able to meld all of those things together?
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that because like actually one of the things I'm like super passionate about is like our family dynamic. I think that one of the things I struggled with when I first started having kids is feeling like um it's so easy to lose yourself in that. And I don't know, kids are a lot of work, as most people know, and they're such a great joy, but they're also like really taxing on just. I mean, any mom will say it. They're like it's a lot of work, it's a lot of responsibility, and I remember feeling like I just didn't want to be like lose myself in that. And so it's
Mhm.
always been really important for me to like not just like I always want to support my kids in their dreams, but for me to also, be living out my dreams as well. And I'm a huge believer that like kids learn so much more from example than they do from just telling them, information. So I feel like by
Mhm.
me pursuing things and like chasing after dreams, they're watching me do it and learning to do that for themselves as well. And yeah, I just always like to involve them with what I'm doing. With two other kids, it's you don't have necessarily your own schedule. You have to like work around two other people that need a lot of your
Yeah.
time. So I just try to do things with them as often as I can and incorporate them in when I'm training and stuff like that. And I think it creates a really healthy dynamic for us.
Yeah. Are your kids part of a homeschool group or they go to public
Yeah,
school?
they are homeschooled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like another interesting hurdle for us as well. I grew up homeschooled and I loved it. Just like the freedom that allowed my childhood to have, and so I wanted that for them as well. And yeah, it's difficult because I work and Andre works, and schooling, is almost full time as well. So we have some help with, thank goodness, Andre's mother. So my mother-in-law is working with us as well. So she helps us tutor the kids, but it still allows us to have like this dynamic of that freedom of, their education being able to be flexible and us, having that time together.
Right. One of my, growing up, I had some friends who were homeschooled, and I was always so intrigued because they'd be like, oh, we went to the lake and went water skiing today. And I'd be like, what? Aren't you in school? And they're like, yeah, but it was gym class. That was like our gym class adventure. I was like, what?
That's totally my childhood. We're like, yeah, going to the zoo today. It's like studying animals.
Yeah, that's amazing though. I love that.
Great. It's awesome if, it's available to do, that's for sure.
Yeah. How do you feel like you and Andre have been able to work together? So obviously Ninjababes, we're huge on just women's empowerment and seeing that equal force of not only working together, whether it's with your spouse or significant other, but not feeling, as you've already explained, like not feeling caged in by like a specific role, but being able to truly be yourself and work together. How do you feel like you've been able to do that with Andre?
Yeah, for sure. That is, it's one of my favorite dynamics I have with my husband. It definitely took some time to get there, so I'm not going to say we had it all figured out from the very beginning. It took us a lot of patience with each other and figuring out like our dynamic with each other. But I have the most supportive husband in the world, so I'm super grateful. He really is. Like he's not into ninja like I am, but he comes to most of my lessons and trains with me just to support. So I'm really that's like really cool to me that he does that. And yeah, he's always been super supportive of it. And yeah.
Have you both worked in graphic design before, or am I making that up from somewhere?
Yeah, no, when we first got married, we had a design company together. So coming out of college, I had a graphic design degree. So I was going into freelance with that. And he did like web design and stuff like that. So we started a little company together and did that for a while before we started having the kids.
Yeah. That's awesome to have that skill set then. And like you're both so, able and capable of like doing video work and all that. That's like super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And have you guys been together for 10 years now?
Almost, yeah. Next year will be our 10th year of marriage.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw your post recently on Instagram. I wasn't sure if that was a 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, we've been dating for 10 years, and then we'll be married for 10 years next year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ninjababes, this podcast is made possible by listeners like you, by Maria Rella, who edits the podcast every week, by myself, who I'm the voice that you're hearing, by all the guests that come onto the podcast, and by our sponsors. When you purchase from either of these sponsors, your purchase is contributing to the Ninjababes podcast. Propello Life is a non-GMO, all-natural supplement company that produces amazing protein, vegan protein, amino acids, electrolytes. All of their blends are made from wholesome ingredients and don't have weird additives. There's no chemical additives, there's no preservatives, there's no color dyes. These are products that I trust and I love to use on a daily basis, and they have some amazing flavors. So if you need some sort of supplement in your life to fuel your workout, to get you pumped up and ready for the gym, they have Energy and Focus Blend, and then of course their proteins and their amino acids for replenishing you afterwards. So you can check them out on propellolife.com. Use code Ninjababes for 10% off. And again, when you use that code, that's helping to contribute to the Ninjababes podcast. Our other long-term sponsor has been Sleepovation. Sleepovation is an online mattress company that produces mattresses and pillows, but their technology is unique and fantastic. The bed literally is made up of 700 individual foam pieces with an individual spring attached to each piece. When you lie on this bed, you literally feel like you're floating on a cloud. It's heavenly, it's amazing. I sleep on this bed every night, and it's a great way to aid in your recovery and to just feel ready for your next day. We all know that good sleep is so important. They also just came out with brand new pillows, which follows the same technology of having 77 individual squares. And so this pillow is movable. You can fold it in half, you can squish it, you can allow it to just cradle your head in the right way when you lean back on your back. And it's great because I'm a back sleeper. Sometimes I'm a side sleeper, but it doesn't matter which way I'm lying. It's going to form and cradle to the shape of my head. Both their bed and their pillow have a cover over it. So you're not literally sleeping on these weird squares, you're sleeping on a cover that's over it. And that cover is completely removable and washable. So check it out on sleepovation.com. You can get 28% off with code Ninjababes. And if you want to check out either of these companies, you can scroll down in the show notes of the episode and you can see both Propello Life and Sleepovation's links and discount codes. All right, thanks for listening, Ninjababes. Now let's get back to the interview. So where do you see yourself going from here? Like just continuing on this path of creativity and ninja and raising your family, or is there anything else that you kind of see down the line?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've always dreamed pretty big and I've always like pursued the things that I got me excited. So I definitely have some goals for the next couple years for sure. I would love to be a business owner. So I have some, businesses I have in mind of launching, and honestly, the whole Ninja Warrior and fitness thing has like really changed my life. As most people would say, when you get into that level of fitness, it's really eye opening. I think the kind of work and dedication and things that you can accomplish. So I really am passionate about being able to give that back because I know how hard it is to be a mom and pursue those kind of things. So I'm working on a home program that will help women just get started in that journey. So like basically like a home fitness program for, kind of geared towards busy moms.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the biggest challenge for busy moms to be able to commit to working out or commit to their own fitness?
I think just finding that time to give yourself. I think when you're a mom, you're giving yourself so much. You're like, basically raising two other people. In my case, I have two
Mm-hmm.
other people I have to give to just in time and all that. So like I think taking that time to work on yourself it's really hard to find that opportunity. I think like it can sometimes make you feel guilty, honestly, when you start pursuing things for yourself and you have other people that need your care. So it's just really finding that balance between making sure you're taking care of the people that need you and also spending that quality time to like work on yourself and find that time to get your workout in and have that alone time.
Yeah. I think something I've noticed for moms who have older kids, it's like they've spent their whole, maybe not their whole lives, but the past 20 years or 25 years just like mothering and taking care of and doing all that, that once they finally do have freedom or more time to themselves, it's almost like they don't know how to go back to that, or they don't know how to even value themselves. Like it might sound weird, but it's like they're so used to putting value more so to other people and other people's schedule and other people's needs that they don't even know how to value their own needs and then put the time into their own self.
Yeah, for sure. It can be
Yeah.
consuming. It really is. It's a tough job. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know that feeling just of like giving yourself so much, you almost, like I said, you lose yourself in that. And when it's gone, it is kind of like you have to relearn who you are.
Yeah.
So my goal is just to like kind of maintain my purpose while nurturing two other people.
Hmm. Do you feel like you've gotten any pushback from other moms or just community in general who've been like, oh, why are you doing all this? You should just focus on your kids, or anything like hate or negativity like that?
That's a good question. Obviously, having a online career opens you up to, a lot of opinions, and
Hmm.
anything online, people are a lot bolder to say their opinion, I think, online than they are in person. So you get a lot of
Yeah.
opinions, that's for sure. But
Hmm.
I can't honestly say that I feel like I get a lot of negative response. Honestly, what keeps me going is like the amount of positive response that I get online is people
Yeah.
saying, you know, this is cool. Like we see your dynamic with you and your family, and they want that for themselves, and that inspires me to like keep pushing for those dreams.
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny because there's like one video on my YouTube channel that is promoting one of the Propello Life products that they work with me, they work with Ninjababes, and I got so many negative comments of guys being like, "Oh, she's too manly for me," or like, "She's too masculine," or whatever. And I was like, "What?" And it just like blows my mind. Like I get so I don't know, like I feel like ninja women, we get in this bubble of like the ninja world where all of us are really strong and we all have like muscular arms because you're a ninja,
Yeah,
like
for
that's the way that
sure.
you are. And I forget that guys outside of that community are gonna look at me differently. Uh, and it's just like I've talked to so many ninja girls who say like, yeah, I go to the regular strength gym and I'm getting all sorts of looks, or like I've gotten it too, where you're like out at the beach or like the grocery store or something, and some random dude will make a comment like, "Wow, look at those arms," or like whatever. It's like, what? Do you say that to the guys at the gym? Like, what? It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. We had a Ninja Babes like hangout event over the summer, and we were just like going off on all these like weird comments that we had gotten from guys. Maybe it's a New Jersey thing. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it's like,
No, I honestly like, yeah, that's crazy to me. I think, you know, hopefully with like this sport taking off and like, I feel like women empowerment too in these recent years has been really, really a thing. And I feel like
mhm,
strong is kind of the new sexy. Like, I don't know, I still feel like there's those guys out there who like, I think maybe feel intimidated by it. And I honestly think that's where those
yeah.
comments mostly stem from. I really think that like strong women are, I don't know, it's a new thing. I mean, I know my husband likes it. He's like, "Yeah, look at your arms. You're looking cut." So I'm cool. Makes me happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm all on board for the strong train for
Hmm.
sure. And I think it's cool too to just see like girls growing up now, like being proud of being strong and like not thinking anything of it. Like it's not even a question. It's like, oh, what do you mean this is different? No, this is just like who I am.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
I love that. Do you feel like you have any advice for women out there, whether it's moms or girls in general? Do you feel like there's anything that you've learned from your journey that you would love to instill in other people?
Oh, it's just so much. Like, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I know you know because you've been in the sport for so long, but it's there's just so much that this kind of athleticism teaches you. Because like I've grown up doing different kinds of athletics, like obviously dance, yoga, different kinds of interests, rock climbing or whatever. But there's something about ninja that like really teaches you this mental game, and I think like part of the sport is like the chance of failure to me is so high. Like I've seen even people that I consider almost flawless in the ninja world mess up on something that would be considered something small, you know? And I just think like the mental strength that it gives you to like to keep going and like always push for that next level is like I think it's what's addicting about it as well.
Hmm.
So for me recently it's like this mental game that I feel like I've really had to learn this year. I always felt like being doing a sport or whatever. It's like you train, you do the sport, and you can always physically get better. But then I realized like the mental part of it, where you learn to focus and like have that clarity because you only get one shot. Like and if you ever do a ninja competition, like you only get that one shot of something at that one, you know, those obstacles. You don't get to like practice it and like it's not your best out of three. It's like that one shot. And I think just being able to like just be confident in that the hard work I've put in is going to pay off. That's been kind of a
Hmm.
learning thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. And definitely I've experienced it too, where it's like you put so much pressure on yourself for like that one
Hmm.
moment that maybe it doesn't go as well
Yeah.
as you wanted it to. And when you look back, you're like, why was I so nervous? Like you look like it's like after the competition's over and everyone gets their time on obstacles or whatever, if it's like a local comp, then it's like you go to try it again and it's so easy. It's like,
Yeah, so many times.
yeah.
That's happened to me. And I honestly, I've never had a lot of success on the show. And I really feel like this year I've really just focused on, because like I know I'm strong. I know I've done these sorts of things like many times before. And I just feel like that mental focus for me is like what's going to take me to that next level. Just learning to like to trust myself and be confident and know that I can do these things,
Hmm.
and not let that pressure get to me.
Yeah. It's interesting when you put it that way, like just trusting yourself, because
Hmm.
it's almost like, yeah, if you've done skills that are similar a million times before, the only difference is like maybe there's a lot of people watching you, maybe there's more on the line. But if
Yeah.
you've truly done that same skill, like trusting yourself, I feel like that's sometimes for me where the difference is. Like I getting so nervous, or I get like just worried, or like have so much expectation for the outcome.
Yeah,
But
or doubting, like doubting, am
right.
I capable of doing this? And then I feel like your body responds to that, like, and
Hmm.
then you don't perform to your top ability because your doubt has already creeped in.
Right. Yeah. And there's so many ways that like I practice visualization, I practice all those things, and for the most part, I've seen like a huge improvement from when I started competing till now in like my ability to maintain composure on the course and like complete what I've set out to complete and all of that. But there's still times that like I feel like for me it's been both years when I competed on A&W, and then the second night was in city finals. The first night to the second night felt totally different to me, and it shouldn't have. Like the first
Really?
night, yeah, for me it was like the first night I was like the butterfly nervousness,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
ready to like just go do your best, and I did my best. And then the second night I would like tell myself that I was excited and like felt the same way, but I also felt so much more pressure at the same time. So it's like that weird like
Wow.
expectation. I feel like for me it's the expectation of, oh, you did this much the first night, you have to do better now.
Yeah. I have to say, I've actually felt almost that same exact thing in the 2 years that I've been doing it. So my first year, I remember like it just being so exciting, and like I was nervous, but I was like, I didn't really know what I was like capable of then, and I was just ready just to go give
Right.
my best. And then come the second year, I remember that night in Atlanta, like almost like just complete dread. Like I really
Mm.
felt like, because this was my second year and I just wanted to do better than I did last year, that I actually ended up almost doing worse, just because like I just remember the pressure being so much greater, and then people at that point knew who I
Right.
was in the show world, and like now I felt like I had to like live up to a standard, and that pressure is, it can be
Yeah,
crippling.
exactly. No, I totally feel you. And I think for me, I mean, this season, coming back with my injury is a little bit different, but not even thinking about my injury, just in general, I think for me, that's what you just said has been the biggest thing. Like, I know how to train my mind well, but why is it that then the second night, or when the stakes are higher, why do I like feel like I lose some of my strategies? And like just being
Right.
able, I was talking to Maddie Howard about this a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. How do you maintain that composure through till the end? Even like I was talking to Maddie and saying how maybe on some of those city final nights, like I felt good starting, but then when I would get to the point where I had fallen the night before, it was like, oh no, like I have to make it past here, and almost like that distracted, like disengaged blackout moment of like, am I really here
Mm.
right now? I don't know. Like so, just being able to like really hold composure till the end, I feel like is what my biggest mental challenge is.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. And then for this year, it's like I put in my submission video and just like showing all of my rehab and my fight and determination to get back to the course, and just even how the ninja community has shown so much encouragement and support back to me. Like I've put out the podcast, I've put out all these ways that I've tried to encourage and support others, and now I've really seen people come back and support me. And so that's what my submission video shows. And so I really hope that I make it back for my third year. So, but
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
but I feel like even if I do make it back, I just feel so grateful to have my arm back. So even just being able
Yeah.
to be there and being able to hang off of a rope again is going to feel like such a crazy like whirlwind. But it's going to be basically like a year later. So
Well, I'm excited. I
thank you.
hope you get your third shot.
Yes. I'm wondering too this year if they'll have more indoor courses.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I got to me and my sister and brother-in-law all tested in Tacoma. We actually just flew out there just to test in the arena, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I was able to test in Tacoma as well, and it was just such a huge difference. And then when we watched the actual competition, like the temperature didn't change. Like there was just so many factors that were different being inside than outdoor.
Well, not to mention the time.
Right.
Like I think performing from 11 to 5 in the day is different from performing from 11 at night to 5 in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like it's got to affect you mentally and physically in some way, you know.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we close out?
I think as girls, especially in any sport, really, like we naturally compare, right? Like we're always comparing, sometimes to a fault, but I think that's really natural for people in general. So it really doesn't about girls, but I think for me, I just really wanted to like put this word of encouragement out there for girls who feel like they can't do it because they like don't come from some strong athletic background. I think like especially in this sport of ninja, like we have such amazing athletes and they all come from these backgrounds of like gymnast or some really huge athletic background, and like I think that is very intimidating a lot of times. At least for me it was. I've always like thought like, oh my god, like I can't do this because like I'm not that person. Like I didn't start this fitness career at an early age, and not all the athletes are like that, but I know like the really good ones, they usually have some kind of like athletic base. And like I don't know, I just want to like for myself too, like just encourage you, like if you put in the right amount of time and work, and you're capable of all that stuff even without that backdrop of athletics.
And it's so true, whether it's ninja or any other type of athletics or sport. I think we can just compare it to those who are already doing it very well and feel like, oh, well, I can't be that. Well, maybe you can't be that tomorrow, but you can be that in time. Like you can grow to your own amount of strength and your own ability in time. And so I think that's so important.
Yeah, for sure.
And even just, I'm glad you brought up the comparison thing, because I do think, especially for girls who are still struggling with like understanding themselves as an individual and like valuing your own identity, it can be so easy to compare, whether it's in athletics or just in life in general, comparing in a way that can lead to negative thinking or just devaluing yourself. And so really just knowing yourself and recognizing like, I'm Kara, this is where I'm at, this is my skill and this is my present ability, or this is my body and I love myself for who I am. And like really being able to see that basic level. And then if you have goals to lose weight or goals to get stronger or goals to do whatever, like just being happy with where you're at right now and then like willing to work from there.
For sure. Yeah. And I think as a social media person myself, like I always try to explain to people like you have to, and most people know this, but like what you put out online is your highlight reel of your life. And I try to maintain some realism with my account. Like I think I recently posted a montage of all my ninja failures. Just like a video of like, look how many times I fell. Because I want people to understand, like I said, your what you put out is your highlights. Everyone goes through failure. Everyone, has those hard times and those moments where they doubt themselves, and so I just really want to encourage people to just like,
yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's so important to be able to be real and to talk about it and to have friendships and to like have your community where people can be real and transparent with one another. And yeah, of course we want to like celebrate our highlights and celebrate all the things that are going well, but everyone has stuff that's not going well. And it can feel very like shameful, or even just like you can feel trapped when you feel like you're the only one who has stuff that's not going great. But when you realize that everyone has all these different things that they're working on, like we feel so much more at ease and so much more capable of just succeeding in life.
Yeah. Or even encouraged, like knowing that, even someone you admire struggles as well. It kind of keeps you like, yeah, well, I can do this. It doesn't make you feel like you failed because you're struggling.
Exactly. Hmm. Yeah, and I think that even with Ninja, that's been a huge lesson for me to learn is just because I failed at something, quote unquote failed, doesn't even mean that it's necessarily like a fail, like you get a zero, you're done. No, it's like, okay, that's where I'm at right now. Like that's the platform that I'm on right now.
Yeah,
Now how do I get past that? Or like that's the wall that knocked me down, but okay, like how do I get around it or over it or through it or under it? Like there's always a way to like see that point and move past it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you so much for being on the episode. And I love your story and I love just seeing all that you're up to and all that your family is up to. So thank you, Charity, for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. I think what you're doing with the podcast is really awesome. It's like, I know, just it needs to be out there. I think it's really cool and it's really encouraging. So you're
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Yeah, that's the mission is just to continue to encourage women and encourage girls to be proud of themselves and to go after their life with like full force, full confidence.
Be strong, be you, be a ninja babe.